Hi everyone, Becca here to share day 29 of my story. I've been coming on here live every day and have one more to go after this for 30 days of telling my story in a vulnerable place, in a vulnerable way. I experienced a lot of body shame and a lot of emotional and energetic grip around food. And that was something that was very shameful to me. And so I didn't talk about it. I didn't tell anyone. So now that I've kind of come on the other side of it, I know that there are still so many people struggling with the same thing, similar things. Our society is teaching us that. And so I just am here to share that, to connect in that way. I was thinking about what I wanted to share today, as I only have a couple more days left. And I, for some reason, thought of just how little people listened to me. No one believed me whenever I would tell them things about my body or what I was doing. They saw that I was fat, and so they just kind of assumed all of the stories about fat people. One moment particularly stood out to me. I was in elementary school. No. This was in high school. I was older. I was in high school, and I had just found a couple of my old food journals. There was a time when I was writing down everything I ate, measuring it, making sure that it was very limited when I was in high school. And so I found these books I was eating very, very little. I remember telling my sponsor in OA. OA is called Overeaters Anonymous, and it's a 12-step program for people who are obsessed with food. It's mainly my experience of it was that it was people who wanted to lose weight. So I had this sponsor, and I was telling her about this journal that I had found. I had read her like how little I was eating, half a sandwich and some green beans for lunch, a lean cuisine for dinner, and some toast for breakfast. Like that was literally my meal. And that was in high school, and I was doing 2 days. I was in goalie training in the morning and then basketball practice at night. So I told my sponsor this, and her next response was, Becca, I just don't think that's true. And I was like, what? And I said to her again, like, this is how much I was eating. This is what I was doing. And I was still over 200 pounds, like well over 200 pounds. She said, I don't think that's true. And I just, like, the one person who I was supposed to come to and just like tell my experiences to, who was supposed to support me and believe in me, essentially called me a liar because I was still fat and eating the right things and moving my body and still not losing weight. So I must be wrong. I must be telling a lie. And I remember just like wanting to lose my shit on this woman because I had been ignored and told that all of my life. No one really cared what I had to say. No one believed what I had to say because they saw a fat body and they just assumed. Doctors didn't listen. My parents didn't listen. Coaches didn't listen. Like it was very disempowering to not have people believe what you're saying or to not care what you have to say. Nobody asked me what I wanted to eat. I was told that. When I went to doctors and I told them that my back hurt, they told me to lose weight. That was the only reason why I was hurting, that it was in pain. That was kind of the story. If I came to a doctor with an ailment, the only conversation was my weight. That was it. Like, it doesn't matter anything else because you're fat. And so that must be the cause of your illness. So I spent a lot of my years just kind of like more and more giving away my truth. It came to a point where I just like accepted other people's opinions at face value. I'm getting a call. At face value, because I was told for so long, like, it doesn't matter what you have to say, you're fat. I became very isolated in that. I then didn't even want to tell my truth because people didn't believe me anyway. In our society, especially people who are big, we don't get a say in our health. We're kind of told this, and this about our health, what we're doing with it. People have all these opinions about it. People couldn't possibly imagine that I was eating healthy, moving my body, and I was still fat. Like, that was just mind-blowing to people. They didn't believe me. Since coming back into my body and healing the relationship with my body, I learned how to sort of take back my truth, to stand in my power when doctors told me, hey, you need to lose weight. I don't just say, okay, yeah, you're right. I know I'm so bad because I'm fat. I now know how to stand up for myself and become more empowered in those moments, which to me is like, it's important. It's important to be heard, especially when we're talking about our health and our bodies, to be believed, to be listened to be understood. Those were all things that I didn't experience that I'm now essentially forcing people to listen to me, because I'm not here for it. I've been told, like, yeah, right, too many times. So if you want to sort of take back your voice, to stand in your truth, to own that, reach out. I have a group starting and an online course starting, both of which are starting in the winter and might be good options for you. I will be back on here tomorrow for day 30, the final day of my story. And I will see you all then. Sending you all tons of love.